a lot of those things were forgotten. It's don't we? We act like terrorists, and we don't want to get them. We want to unify front again against the world. Thank you for that. And doing like I welcome everybody here. We have a pretty brief agenda tonight, so we're going to start with ask Eric Stewart to do some prayer, please.
Let's pray. Father, we love you. Just thankful for another opportunity to gather. God, thankful for life that you've given us this beautiful day. And God, just as Mayor Joe just mentioned, God, the memories of what this day represents from many years ago, we still know there's families that today, God, mourn. And we just pray for your peace and your love to flow on all those families, Lord, that were affected so tragically that day. And Father, may we never forget it. God, we just pray over this planning meeting tonight. Just pray, God, that there would be unity among the council, that they would make decisions, Lord, that would be in the best interest for our community. And God, may they seek you in those decisions. And God, may everything that's done here tonight, through citizen comment, through all council decisions, Lord, may it be done with honor, respect, and love for one another, as you call us to. And we ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Let's stand for prayer, please. Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. It's time for citizens' comments. I'm going to read the rules again in case people have forgotten. Time for citizen and public comments will be made clear at the beginning of the evening of each city of the work session and council meeting. Comments will be made by anyone who doing business on this, located within those city limits. Comments will not be limited to any topic. Comments must be directed to the mayor and council. Language must remain civil, and speakers should avoid personal attacks on council or staff. Speakers should state their name and address. Comment will be limited to 3 minutes. The timer will be set, and in 3 minutes, the speaker will be asked to bring their comments to a close. If there's something else to be said, the opportunity to make available at the next session of the citizen comments. So now I'll entertain citizen comments. If I can. Nobody got anything to say now, huh? Let's see if anybody. Our first councilman, what is she, 3 months old, 4 months old?
3 months.
3 months old. Something young now.
Sorry, yeah.
All right, we're sure about that. That should be involved as y'all are.
I hope so.
Thank you. Okay. Your other month for this month is going to be announced next Monday. City council members will be picking those. Since the District 5 is vacant, I will pick those for District 5. We'll best go around, find the yard of the month, because it's really good looking. And there's a proposed fall yard of the month program that we had done in the past, and do we still want to do that? Or because to me, last one was confused. Last year was confusing. We had
Y'all actually added a day for Halloween.
Yeah, all
So
the
what
days
we-
of public place,
right.
and then Halloween too.
Well, so we've done it for 5 years, so last year y'all chose to also recognize Halloween decorations besides fall decorations.
In the same month. Is that
Right. But in the previous 4 years, we just, we combined the two.
That's fine. So we're gonna keep it all related to public place, or we're gonna combine Halloween? Because I've noticed in town, a lot of people decorate for Halloween more than fall. So whatever y'all think we need to do, we're gonna combine them or a separate event.
I'm not voting that we combine them. Can't vote on that.
So we probably.
But the Halloween would be for the November,
Well,
August, right?
yeah. So, and then just understand, it's okay. We'll have to go to the expense because we only have banners for the autumn leaves and pumpkins, please. We'd certainly make that expense too.
So if we have one announced one in October, which is the middle of the month, which is before Halloween. And then we announced one in November, which is after Halloween. Do people keep the things up till November? That's my
I
question.
don't know, that was just
That's
asking, it
what-
was just a
that's-
question, I didn't remember how we done
That's why it
it.
confused me last year. I mean, am I wrong? Yeah,
I wasn't arguing, I was just trying to verify.
I know, to me, it's confusing in a way, because you announced October fall,
Well, last year, the council chose to recognize Halloween in the middle of the month.
right.
So that was probably, if there was any confusion, because the prior years, like I said, we recognized both Halloween decorations and the autumn
In the
decorations.
same month, in the same cycle.
It was always the same time.
Yeah.
But it's your call, whatever y'all want to do.
So you want to keep 1 yard a month for October, or you have 2 yards a month for October? It's a question, I think, as I understand it.
You should have one, wouldn't you?
Again, it's y'all's choice. You could recognize both, you could recognize ones for Halloween decorations and one for, autumn, fall decorations.
James made a motion to
Right.
combine Halloween and autumn leaves in October.
But we'll do that next, we'll have to do that
That'd be
next.
for the month of October, you would announce at
But
the
we'll
end
have to
of
vote, but next week, we can't make that decision, I mean, we
Right.
can't verify that. You know.
So we got a week to figure out how we want to handle this. Okay. All right, I think that gets us down to the money, right?
All righty now. I've got some things to hand out, so. Just a second. So I'm gonna pull up bank balance, because that's always the fun part that everybody enjoys the most. I'll give you all the copies.
If anyone can assume that in for the parties.
Yeah, I can pull it up a little bit quicker.
It might be hard to read on this. I'm over there.
Not nearly enough money. Diddle that. Let's go. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
How about if I just talk loud? So the good news is your bank balances haven't changed that much, although they have increased. Hall County Splosh, 1.2 million. Banks County Splosh, 15 million. Banks County Splosh 7, 154 million. Banks County T-Splosh, what's that?
Are you saying 700 million?
I hope I didn't say
I
that.
think
I may have. 164,000, Banks County T-Splosh, 176 million. When we get to the total, you'll understand better. Hall County Splosh 7, 76,000. Former escrow accounts, 101,000. Water tap fees or TCRs is 159,000. Sewer TCRs is 964,000. Utility fund, 674,000. General fund is 1.5 million, 1.6, close enough. Total unrestricted funds, 5.1 million. What a sweet position for y'all to be in. I don't know that money's that we've ever enjoyed that as much as we are today. Where we are right now, we're actually in our 10th week of the fiscal year, and not for everybody to get excited, but we generally run behind through November on revenues under the general fund. So right now, where we should be at about 80%, we're actually running on revenues under the general fund at 87%. And that's assuming that we have loss collections. You have to post at the last loss collections on those. So more importantly, everybody hears me see the same thing. It's not how much you bring in, it's how much you're spending. Where we should be at about 80%, we're at about 85%. We have a negative cash flow on the general fund right now of about $33,000. It's not uncommon, certainly not something we enjoy, but for most governments that run a fiscal year July 1 through June 30th, this is not an uncommon event. Although they enjoy property taxes, which they get to go way ahead in the month of November,
We don't, but nonetheless, it ends up balancing out about the same time. Under the water and sewer fund, where we should be at about 80%, we're at about 82% revenue, which we look at water revenue and sewer revenue. Those are running about 81 and 80% respectively. Expenditures are running about 86%. When you combine both those operational funds, the general fund and the water and sewer fund, we have about a $10,000 positive cash flow as we sit here today. How sweet is that?
I like it.
Yep, well, we like it a little bit better, but, you know, all the same, hats off to you. We wouldn't be where we are right now with that. A couple of the things we had discussed, and we copied everybody on the premium renewal for the health insurance, and we talked with the finance committee about that directly. So we'll have to make a decision about participation again this year. The enrollment begins October 1st, so I'll remind everybody we have to make a choice decision on that. Design architects for the next finance meeting, we need to get them in the house, and that's from Carter Alley. Lula investment policy, I'm going to put Joey on the spot. Joey, I had sent you an email that we talked about, that you would be the intermediary between the council assigning dollars to be invested. And is that fine with your firm?
Yes, sir.
So we'll ask the council to take that and adopt the investment policy. So for the community's benefit, you need to go when the fire is hot. The fire is hot right now because fortunately we can buy certificates of deposit for over 5% right now. And fortunately we can do that locally. And so the council will look at how much dollars they can put in. And we actually budgeted those dollars to be, from an investment standpoint, if they're not going to be spent right away, then we'll have that opportunity to use those. What we're going to come back and recommend is 11-month CDs, and those we broke up significantly depending on the dollar amount. We start the pre-audit, begins September 18th. Usually that runs as much as 2 weeks, but it's usually 3 or 4 days here, 2 or 3 days there. So patience and understanding, right, Tangi?
Yes, sir.
Because they put a lot of demands on Tangi especially. And so understand if you come in and we're not as cheerful or as happy to see you, it's because we're overrun with other things we're trying to satisfy them. And our auditors, which we very much appreciate, they've been doing a good job of communicating with us. But they're also prone to leave you an email at 5:05 in the afternoon and want the information for the next morning. And that's where I think sometimes we find it challenging. But nonetheless, we're excited to get that audit process started. And then with the idea that we'll have a completion, that they'll come back and assign the audit to the council for consideration, usually in the month of December. Anybody got any questions on finance?
I do.
Ask away.
I'm gonna do it. First of all, the auditors have asked all of us kind of people about information. Email back to
You have an
them.
audit letter you
Yep.
need to be sending back to
I
them.
gotta send that back to them, so don't everybody forget that.
And
Next thing,
there's an envelope for you to send it back to them.
Yep.
everybody got one. About this, health insurance premium. First of all, how many people do we have currently, does the city currently pay all of the health insurance for the employees and half for the family, is that what it was?
So, yes, I'll remind you, that's what the council's adopted, that's what we talked about in the last finance meeting with y'all. Up to this point, you have paid 100% of the employees' premium and 50% of the family premium if they elect to participate.
Yeah. All the family or the employee children or employee spouse?
So that breaks up, but either way, it's 50%.
I'm just trying to understand.
So the increase that, and I know I've copied y'all and I'm repeating myself, but the increase this year is 8%. That's a rule.
How many people do we have?
So you have 15 employees you're paying 100% of, and of those 15, right now, we have 7 that participate in some form, whether it be family. I think we have 2 coming off of that. Isn't that right? Or we had 1 already drop off.
One.
With
So we have,
family.
for another, maybe drop off as well. We look at it from an exposure standpoint. I'll just remind y'all that, you know, if you bring an employee on or if their circumstances change, they very well can elect to change their policy as well.
Okay. I just want to make sure I understand this.
Is that another copy of that?
Yeah, y'all should have, this was in your box last week as well. We copied everybody.
I'll have to go back.
No, it's okay, I'll make you a copy.
Okay.
Dennis.
Okay, thank you, Dennis. No, we got water sewer there, is that correct? Yes.
Yes.
I was that is it.
So the good news, let's see. This is, well, I'll tell you, water and sewer system operations is fine. Thank goodness I have nothing of any significance to talk there. We did have a chance to meet with the utility committee last week. We're gonna go into that in a little bit more detail. Now I'll give you some direction as well. These were the bids that we had on the Belton Bridge water line extension, 780 feet, 870 feet. And it was very competitive. As you'll see, we had a number of vendors that participated, 6 all told, and we had values from 110,000 all the way up to 231,000. So right now we're in the qualifying stage. What I've given you today, we qualified the bid numbers, the line items, and now we're qualifying the low bidder. So the low bidder right now would appear to be $110,362. So hopefully this week I'll get a qualifying letter from our engineers, and then the council can take that under consideration. And those, just to remind y'all, would be SPOS dollars that you'd be considering. Any questions on that? By the way, 2 things I want you to bear in mind. This is what scares me most. Between the low bid and the high bid, it's $126 a linear foot. For the low bid, $266 for the high bid. That concerns me when there's that much of a difference, which is why we go back and we qualify by line items. But you can see they were pretty competitive. The next lowest price was $128,000 and $136,000, and then $145 versus $133, of course. Then the final amount of $231. But bear that in mind, because that when we talk about extending water or sewer lines, think about the linear footage. Well, and it's significantly higher, as much as about 26% higher than the last line development we did. So bear that in mind. Well exploration, we have been working with our geologists and our engineers. We've identified 2 absolute opportunities for well development, and then we're meeting this Thursday. We're going to spend half the day out in the field with the idea. We think we have 2 more locations that we're looking at. As I reminded the utility committee and the finance committee, both have recognized we want to get a number of sites available so we can bring the well drillers in, do one, do another. So the hope is that we can have as many as 4 well locations for development. We're actually looking at 4 new locations. 2 of them would be outside of our city limits, which is fine. It's just a matter, I just pointed out, you pay $127 a linear foot to run a water line to it. At some point, becomes cost prohibitive, but we'll look at those opportunities, and then hopefully I can communicate to y'all sometime next week, because we're meeting Thursday. I don't think there'll be anything definitive. We're working with Joey to make sure that, as you know, we've got some acquisition issues that we want to address. Let's see what we come up with Thursday, and we'll communicate that with y'all as well. Questions y'all might have on that? File's already getting thick.
I'm satisfied.
So we did have a chance to meet with the utility committee, and we talked about some items you're going to hear. Water and sewer mapping proposal. That's going to be a capital improvement. we're just starting the ball rolling on that. Water and sewer rate implementation, where y'all approved unanimously last month, from my understanding, you didn't set a date to begin that. And what was proposed, we're a little bit all over the board, but I think the consensus came no later than January. Unless I hear otherwise from the council, and we can certainly put that on the agenda if you like, we'll begin to advertise that because we want the public to have well notice of it. I know they had public hearings on all the same. We still want to keep them apprised as those items mature. So does the council wish to place that, or are you happy with January being the start date?
You know, in opposition, I'm fine with it. You know,
I think in the back of the room she had, which is okay.
she says, save the money later.
Yeah. January sounded fine to her as well. We talked about some sludge issues, and I won't go into great amount of detail on that, but we are addressing some options. So sludge for us is the final waste product that comes out of our wastewater treatment plant, and it's a very expensive venture to disposing of that. So not only today are we looking at what options are available to us, but I would suggest to you 3, 4, 5 years from now, we're doing the same thing, because it's getting more expensive, and the expectations for the haulers and for the landfills that take it are changing as well. Another item we brought up is proposed capital improvement, and we talked about this a couple of years ago when we had our roofs inspected at the wastewater treatment plant control building and the belt press building. And, you know, everybody said, no, we got a few more years left into it. Well, we don't have a few more years left into it. And we do have some competitive bids that we talked about with the utility committee, but again, that would be a proposed capital improvement. Oconee well improvements, just to remind everybody, so we're making improvements. We're actually doing some concrete work at the wellness park as well as the Oconee well, and you'll see some improvements on McLeod Street as well as Oconee. But Oconee well improvements is replacing the old generator from 5th Street and placing that in service, and we're doing an exterior work on the outside of the Oconee well as well. And actually, we're rebuilding the entire building. So if you go by there, don't think it always looks like that. You know, soon the roof will be coming off, but you know, hopefully we'll finish that up in the next 30 days. Solid waste commercial dumpster rate, so we did have a chance to talk to the utility committee on that, and the issue is contractually you've agreed to allow for waste management to provide services in entirety in the city, and what I found was that we had an inconsistency on the commercial rates, and so we went back to them. If you look at the contract, Joey, you may have had a chance to reflect on that letter that I sent to them, but there are given values, you could call them deals, I don't like to use that word, compared to their regular rates, but nonetheless, they're all over the board. They're charging one customer one price, and the same customer, the same amount of service is different. So we're trying to give that so where everything matches. We can advertise those rates. There's a willingness on waste management to correct. I haven't gotten anything from them yet, Joey, but I said they need to have some corrective action to take care of the mess that we've found they've made, and then go from there. So the challenge for us will be, this is mostly just dumpster customers, so you'll understand, where it still is a significant value over their posted prices. Nonetheless, we want some consistency in that, so we'll continue to communicate that back to the council as well. So the question on that is when implementation will take place on that. Update on the Chattahoochee water tank exterior maintenance. So for us, we have 2 water tanks. One's the big bowl tank that's up here, the white one up on Chattahoochee Street, to remind everybody. So we have to take that tank out of service in order to do the exterior and interior cleaning and the exterior painting. So this is, as you can imagine, when you're hitting 90 degrees, this is the best time of year to be able to do that. So we've been running some tests on what we call the static pressure of the system, and I'm still not comfortable where we need to be. And the reason I'm not is because our production, only on weekends, as a rule, generally on Sunday, everybody has a tendency to do their laundry, wash their cars, and give Johnny and Mary a bath, which is all fine. But anyway, we're running capacity exceeds production on those days, not by an amount that we should worry about, but not as bad as it's been in years past. I told you, once we had COVID came into play, the changes in the consumption fell dramatically. So now I don't know what the consistency is, but we found that significant. And when I say that, I don't know what it is, we found that as a rule, we use about day in and day out about 181,000 gallons, and we can produce 236 gallons a day. And by the way, that's never enough. So you'll always hear us keep saying about it's one of those items we'll continue to talk about. This is why we talked about well development earlier. But right now, I'm looking for a Sunday that we can run pressure test on the system, and we're primarily concerned about fire service more than anything else. And hopefully we'll find a week before the end of the weekend before that. Customers won't notice the difference. It's something that we'll measure, and that'll help us define whether or not it's October that we drain that tank or November. So we'll keep you abreast of that. SCADA system replacement. So SCADA, just so you know, is a data collection system that reports what happens at each of the well locations, each one of our sewer lift stations, and the waste treatment plant. And all that is a data stream that communicates, and we have what we call PLCs, and that's preferred logic control. Don't be yawning in the back of the room, but what that does is it tells us how to operate the plant. We set the standards in the PLCs, the data comes in, and it makes adjustments, not artificial intelligence for those that might not understand that, but it's what we call preferred logic control. Nonetheless, our system is about 12 years old, and the programming we use hasn't been updated for about 4 years. Has it caused a problem? No. But we want systems that continue to improve, and so we're looking at what opportunities will be. That, again, will be a capital improvement project as well for the council to consider in the very near future. Anybody got any questions on the utility committee? We're here quite a length of time for that.
I got none.
Nope.
Chattahoochee, culvert.
So culvert replacement on Chattahoochee and Carter Street. So we're finalizing that. I shared that also with the utility committee, or excuse me, the street committee last week, where we're at on that. And right now we're deciding how much we got to do on utility relocation, and then we'll go from there. Hopefully, you know, I keep saying this will be in a couple of weeks, but I think last week we had a pretty good conversation with the engineers, understanding the challenges that they're facing. The issue for everybody in the room is these culverts need to be replaced. We found failure in one of them. It's not going to be an inexpensive venture, but we're also sensitive to, we carry bus traffic on Carter Street in Chattahoochee, and when you do this size culvert replacement, it is going to require those streets to be closed for a certain length of time. Not all at the same time, but we want to have a better understanding of that, and we're going to have some underground utility relocates as well. So we'll keep you abreast of that. The idea is put that out on the street and come back again with competitive pricing. Paving project bids goes out on the street actually tomorrow, September 12th. And so that's what we use Georgia procurement services for. That's actually required by law for a project of this size. So we'll have to see what posted dates on that that come back. Generally, we don't post anything for less than 30 days. So we may match that up depending on how many bidders we have come into the room. We may match that up to an extended no more than 45 days. But we'll let you know that as that matures. Any questions on those last two items?
All right, we're down to, insurance committee, is that public meeting?
So I suggested the date of Wednesday, September 27th, for both Banks County and Hall County. And that's, I said proposed because both of them have shown a willingness to participate. They just haven't okayed the date yet. So I'll know by next Monday for
We're gonna
sure.
try to make it an evening meeting or?
What's that?
We're gonna try to make it an evening meeting or a day?
Yeah, it'll be an evening meeting, 6 o'clock. And it'll be at Lula Depot.
Okay, then we're still working on the zoning ordinance.
I am, and if mayor and council have no other comments, other than what was in the building code amendments, I can go ahead and run those ads and have the public hearing with the planning commission first Tuesday in November or whenever they have their meeting. And then the council meeting would be your regular voting session in November for those amendments.
That's because of legal notice.
I'm sorry.
That day's because of legal notices.
Yes, gotta get 30
So
days.
will we run 1 or 2 meetings?
Well,
One
we'll
public
have,
hearing?
we'll have the planning commission, public hearing for their recommendation, and then we'll have a public hearing before
Yeah,
council.
that's what I thought.
Okay. Now, we have tabled the zoning ordinance for the 22 acres. And we didn't give planning commission any direction, as I understand it, is that correct? For what to do with it? Is that?
Well, Mayor, you tabled it, and the applicant stated that they were going to revise their site plan, which they have now done. So you could have your public hearing on October the 16th. And address it on the amended application, which reduced it. They took out 1 tax parcel, and it is now seeking a rezone of 16.99 acres with 2 tax parcels rather than 3.
So, actually, what we'll have to decide is whether to hear it ourselves or let the planning commission hear it again, is that correct?
You should, I would recommend you go ahead and have your public hearing and let that proceed, and then if you choose to remand it to the planning commission based upon what information is delivered for them to make a recommendation, you can do that. But you've just never had your public hearing.
I'm revised.
Right, because they made the request to table it, which you approved.
And we copied you Friday afternoon on the email, we got a hard copy today, and I believe you have hard copies in your box as well, but this is the information that we were supplied, as well as the cover letter. By the way, I'll just address in there, we received the email on Friday, we received the hard copy today, but the letter's dated, probably by accident, August 16th. We just didn't want y'all to feel like we hadn't given it to you. We got it today. So,
Another cut and paste error.
who knows?
Okay. All right, we got a movie night coming up on October 6th with a proposed community picnic. That's what I heard about that one, I think.
So that actually was brought forward. The community movie night was already proposed. And
Be good to have some hot dogs, doesn't it?
yeah, so Garnet had came to me, and I'm inclined to agree with this. So we've had some success with the community movies at the depot, and maybe we're not doing as good a job of getting the word out. We have learned our lesson. Don't do it when it's 85 degrees out at 9 o'clock at night when the sun goes down. The good news is the date of October 6th, sundown is actually around 6:30. When Garnet was talking to me, he wanted to know if we couldn't do hot dogs and chips and a drink and promote that as a community event prior to the movie.
Now, if they start there at 6:30, they move from 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning.
Well,
The
what
sun
we
goes
found
down.
with the parents is they like the movie to run earlier, only because of the little ones. And that was the mistake we made when you run it in May, you have to wait till 9:05 before the sun goes down. So, you know, if we did, I mean, we could have, the picnic time and all that, or, from 5:30 to 6:30 easily.
6:30 when it dark, that would might.
Yeah, 6:30, that's sunset.
It won't be dark, it's just sunset.
Yeah.
I think I would like have to have it dark.
So anyway, we're showing the Addams Family, the cartoon. It ought to be a hoot. And Garnet has volunteered his services. And that would be the rest of y'all are open to your services as well. It'll be a lot of work before the movie. Once the movie starts, it'll be
You
great.
seem to be good, right?
Well, you know, I think a little organization would do a great job with this.
Okay. Did you want those up on down, or is this recognized as kind of information?
I just got that earlier, so I was gonna take that, because I want to talk to Joey about it. It's on the right of way, and then, we'll take it back to the committee for their thoughts on it.
All right, we have a request from the Little Buckland Historical Society, and, here comes Cassie. Right on, you did good.
I was waiting. I got a copy of that request because
Yep.
I forgot my copy. I was running a little late today.
So the council has this too, so that was your email.
Well, it is stating that we are requesting, if possible, for some sponsorship from the city to help us with our entertainment. When it comes to sound systems and people to sing, they're not cheap. And some people don't want to just volunteer. The sound system is our biggest issue. That seems to be very expensive. In fact, I kind of want to buy a sound system and rent it out based off of the prices I got. So we're requesting $1,500 to cover parts of entertainment cost. We'd love for your consideration.
I thought at one time we owned this sound system.
So we do. They're talking about, we have a PA system. Right.
It's built up.
Yeah, and Tony's the pro on that, and it just has its limitations, right?
Yeah, what we have is two speakers on stands.
It's
Generally
good.
reserved for small events. I think it works for the Veterans Park, but
From right there, right here, possible.
Yeah.
well, yeah, it definitely cover this room for sure.
The veterans ceremony, the memorial ceremony, it works great for that kind of stuff. And like just broadcasting music at Christmas in the park there at the depot. But when it comes to actually projecting that across a large area,
That's about it.
yeah, it doesn't work too good.
It actually doesn't even, like, at the car show, the Historical Society car show, like, you can only hear part of it, the whole, like, all of the participants cannot hear it. It's just not powerful enough for it to be heard.
Yep,
What kind of pricing you got, I'm not using myself.
I hear you. They're over 2,500, anywhere from 2,500 to
Just
3,500.
rent it for a day, is it?
Just to rent for a day. Yep, exactly. So, as you see with the cost of equipment and all that kind of stuff, you're racking up anywhere 3,000 or more just to try to have entertainment at the festival.
And then you're also having to get artists, performers.
Yeah,
things like that.
and so far, they're, like I said, they're not cheap either. If they get a little bit known, they want to jack that price up.
And we're, this is voting on tonight, Joey, is that
Yes.
correct?
Yeah, we've
Okay.
advertised this for a voting meeting.
So the request is for 1,500,
Yes.
and you're looking at expenses exceeding 2,000, possibly
Yes.
25, even 3,000.
Mhm.
I'll make a motion that we,
I'll start to make that motion, go right ahead and do it.
okay, I make a motion that we go ahead and give them the 1,500 that they're asking for.
Motion made by Deshawn to grant the proposal.
Second.
The second by Smith. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Got it.
Thank y'all very much, Councilman. We appreciate it.
Okay, now we have a proposal we call on number 12 for a really evaluation. Is that on the business? That's on Sunday.
Yeah, that's on Sunday, Saturday, could utilize, sort of running on the Veterans
On
Day.
Saturday, actually.
Right.
That runs, is that correct?
Right. So they gave y'all a written request. Is there a representative here?
Yes,
Sure.
Mr. Mayor,
Mayor.
I'd like to turn that over to the chairman of that event, Renee Shockley. So she's here tonight, if you have any questions or the council has any questions about.
So we're just looking to see if we can get it approved not to have to pay to run the depot that day. And use it for our community meal, everything will be free. And then, of course, to thank our veterans, and hopefully do a special invite for them.
Is this going to replace the Veterans Day ceremony as well?
No.
That's on Friday, correct, that's on Friday. That's right, Historical Society?
Yes,
That's on Friday.
the Veterans Day.
Right.
On the 11th?
So it'll be on the 10th on the cost participation for the 11th of Veterans Day. The 12th is the day that they're not used anyway.
And it's not just for the veterans.
Right.
The whole, all of us community. But it would be announced at the Veterans Day celebration on that Friday.
We wait till Monday,
Yeah, we'll put that on the agenda for Monday.
You know, any questions about just from noon to 4?
We would do it from 2 to 4, but we would need time to set up the breakdowns.
I'm sure it's too. Okay. We'll talk about that another time. You ladies are meeting next week, the 20th, which is next week. Lunch at noon and dinner 6:30 at the Depot. Historic Society meets at 4 Monday. Something else we're going to do. I don't remember now. On the 4th of October, we had COVID, okay, I'm on this. Tuesday night, at the Depot, the Historic Society, I invited. On the 16th, which is this coming Friday, Saturday, sorry. Historic Society, I'm probably there. Here's some chicken dinner. We're going to talk about some more.
June Benson, 4719 Old Cornelia Highway, Lula, Georgia. I just want to remind everybody that this Saturday is our fundraiser for the restoration of the caboose. The chicken dinner is $10 cash and carry, or you could buy a ticket ahead of time. We will start serving at 12 noon and we'll continue till 4 p.m. And it's very reasonable. It's $10. And you get your meat and 2 sides and water. And so it's a good value, but it's for a good cause. We're preserving our depot caboose because, you know, cabooses are kind of going by the wayside. And we've got a good one here and we want to take good care of it. So show your support for your town and your caboose and your historical society. And I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I hope to see everybody there.
Question, Jim, question. Is this gonna be at the depot itself? Or you gonna-
It's going to be on Main Street at the Lula Mercantile, and we will have signs. I'm gonna put signs out tomorrow evening directing you there, so you can't get lost. It's on Main Street in Lula.
Hey, Jim, did you tell them, you said what a great deal is, but you just said it needs two sides, but it's like actually half of a chicken and.
It's half of a rotisserie cooked chicken that's going to be cooked for 5 hours, so you know it's going to be good. It's going to be baked beans, coleslaw, and a drink. And if you don't want to drive through, we're going to have tables and chairs out there and canopies so you can sit, just have a picnic. Okay?
Thank
Is
you.
that everything?
And move all vessels is, we start like that on September 30th. Tell you more about that today, or we could go advertise. I think everybody's seen it.
We're pretty full for vendors, sir. That's good.
Let's do that.
I think space-wise, we're over 100 spaces. We got a good
Any ball field yet?
Huh?
Do we need a bigger ball field yet?
Yes, we need more parking though.
We're working on it.
We do have a good bit of kid activities, kids on this year. So the pool that's coming is an escape room. That's pretty neat. There was one other.
There's an escape room, there's the bungee jump ride, and there's the
Bounce
bounce houses, the bull riding, the obstacle course, pony rides for kids.
Way more. Yeah. And food court, of course. So, and with y'all's generous donation, we will actually be able to, call a few places up and say, yeah, we can take you in.
Come on down.
Yeah. So y'all come out on the 30th.
Okay.
Anytime.
Tennis court, let's have it on.
So the good news is hopefully by tomorrow afternoon we'll complete the revitalization of the tennis court, and you know that we're adding pickleball as well, so gives us a couple of days for cure and come out and try your best at pickleball.
Do we bring travel for the ball or the bring on?
You bring your own.
We're going all, like, we're going right in here, right?
Yeah, we're having some new signs come up, so those of us like myself that don't understand how pickleball works, we'll give you some instruction that will tell you where the orthopedic surgeon is to go to.
Okay, take my bill, take that system and send it over. You sign up for it.
And please do that, because we had a good, robust start with it, but, we know we've got 3,000 folks in Grace to Lula. We probably don't have, 20% of that.
Maybe that's fine.
On this one, no, I took it on the, back, yeah, I'm sorry, but listen to what you were saying. So that's as easy as it is. You text 91896, and you come, we don't pester you with, primarily we're using it for emergency or community service events, so.
Everybody sign up today. Kip, we says, that was talk to you, let you understand what we're trying to get done here. Okay, we have scheduled committee meetings, human resources and public safety.
Yeah.
You know, that.
We can't win, we're competing with courts as my guess, but anyway, I don't know what everybody's availability is, we hope to Thursday, and Thursday is now court, right, Joe?
Yes.
Is that secondary tomorrow?
Yes, 4 o'clock.
I thought it was my
So, availability is limited for this week. Wednesday is already out, tomorrow's open, I would be asking a bit much. Public safety isn't a necessity, but being a resource, as you know, I've copied y'all on some of the things that are maturing on that, we need to talk with those. So you got a choice, Tuesday or Friday.
This week, tomorrow, what time are you looking at tomorrow?
I'll be here.
Friday, I can't till 6, I don't know if I work till 6. Just say,
Tuesday,
That's all I can do for you on that day. Tuesday, I could do 5 on Tuesday.
Can you do that? Okay.
We'll meet tomorrow at 5 o'clock.
That was just a minute. Lost solution of the committee, continuing for test. But it won't be done the 23rd.
Right,
That is
so
our Sunday.
annually, we host one of the SLOSS meetings, and we talk about where this is primarily for Hall County, although we do address a little bit for Banks County. But anyway, we put on a presentation as well as interact with the Citizen Review Committee. So we proposed a date tentatively. We hope for the 23rd. That's not going to work. So we'll get you a firm date. They actually are meeting tonight. They can give us a date that will work in October. And that's one of those that we may push to sleep, but it's still some good
Is
information.
that also the meeting, that's also the meeting day too?
Yes, so it's generally at 6 o'clock.
Okay. Trying to schedule a council retreat, sometime remember after the election.
That was the idea.
So we try to schedule this.
Right.
Please go, okay, we got this executive session tonight,
I have no update.
So we don't have that date. It's not that.
Good. Now it's time, more guys and minutes.
Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to add one more thing before we jump into that. I wanted to just request, if we were talking, this is an item number 17 about committees. I wanted to go ahead and just float this information out that while not this month for this meeting sessions that we have coming up the next week, but I want to entertain us having a downtown beautification and development committee meeting for the purpose of discussing the development authority, which I believe was a resolution that was passed in previous years. It did not get assigned any directors to it. So it's just something that I think I want to get the ball rolling, just start talking about it in the committee. That's most appropriate for it. It's not something that would probably be initiated right away, but I just wanted to at least get that information to council.
Always, sometime next week.
Yeah, I mean, two in the next couple of weeks would be fine.
Yeah, we certainly encourage that. Joe, you might want to be in attendance on that so they all understand how we do the membership. Right.
We have a volunteer available on October 22nd and 27th on the park. We're sending 6 p.m. Monday through 7 p.m. Both preachers and singers on the October 22nd and 27th. That is already set up, is that right?
I believe that's posted already. We don't have any other information on that. They come back.
We got a flyer.
So I didn't get a flyer. You got one sharing with us and make sure.
That's all right.
Yeah, I've got that as well, but that wasn't, I understand, I think they have communicated that with Teresa. I know the date.
This summer,
Yes, yeah.
okay, now time, board announcements.
Okay, thank you. One of the listen about addressing current and future needs. We citizens depend on elected officials to continue to act in good faith for the future of our city. I personally want to thank all of you for your effort to do the right thing for every citizen of our city. I am so grateful to have had the opportunity to serve on the Louisville City Council for many years. It has given me insight as to how to identify ways to make improvements on a fast-growing area. I attended the meeting of the Louisville Planning Commission to see ways to accomplish the goals that have already been set for this town, such as light and heavy industry, neighborhood shopping and business areas, and multiple family dwellings available for residential use. I know there is a focus right now on the 104 acres development by Inland Port located on 98.5 in Gainesville. This will provide a new container freight route for Lindsay, Georgia to connect the port of Savannah with the world. It will also have a profound effect on our community. I'm excited to see many parents and students at the city meetings. They too are interested in the future of Lula and how that will affect the future. I hope they are given adequate time to ask questions and participate in the meeting. We are fortunate to have an attorney at each meeting available according to the needs of the council to achieve an act on their behalf. He is obviously well acquainted with the law. I often ask myself why he cannot use his expertise to help eliminate the cancer that seems to exist in this administration. It clearly is detrimental to our city and those who hope for progress. There are many issues facing our city. Citizens appear to feel uncertain about the future. This uncertainty can be switched if the mayor or another council person to give us a report on the facility plans to address some of the concerns. So please tell us, Mr. Mayor, what kind of position are we in now, and what are you and other people doing so that we will be able to see a better future for Lula? Having been on the city council for many years, I want to thank Governor Smith. His foresight and honesty about our city, everyone he knows is refreshing and positive. No one owns him or influences his decisions. They are made for the good of all the people. I want him to know that I, myself, and many others will be supporting him in the upcoming election. He has proven he is willing to work with all people regardless of their nationality, beliefs, or different opinions. As citizens of Lula, we want to hear about the good things going on in the city, not a list of agreements or bad behavior that occur between leaders and other city employees. We want to support you all in your mission to serve the family of our city with respect, dignity, and that way we can make the dream for a little future a reality. Thank you.
City comments?
Mayor Brewster, Evangeline Law. I got a question for you, Joe. When you were running, you were talking to my wife about fixing the paint booth. We've had 2 years, and this has brought it up twice. We've moved. Most people don't have access to 100 or 1.5 million to buy a new place. Now they're fixing to put in another restaurant. But the garage is still attached to that building. Where are we at on tightening up the zoning laws to make sure another paint booths don't come in and another business has to close down?
And I appreciate it. The mayor has asked me to just serve as parliamentarian, and your comments are certainly taken to council, but it's just not intended for a question and answer session. So if anybody wants, they can, but otherwise we appreciate your question.
I appreciate that. I'm just curious. I'm not,
Yes.
not being just curious.
Yes. Understand.
That just makes me sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry.
He didn't say what time or something.
I was maybe
Okay.
things are done.
if you will, as we've stated before, you have the individual council members and the mayor and your city staff's email. You're welcome to email them. I recommend you do it individually because I advise them that if you email them as a group, it limits their ability to comment because that could be considered part of a meeting. So if you have any questions, I encourage you to get those questions to anybody up here or to the staff, and they'll address your question and get you a response.
So where do we get their emails at? Not that I expect an answer, but where do I get Joe's emails? So I can go outside and send an email.
cityofblue.com.
I believe it's on the website.
Well, I would like to say that I have emailed Joe individually and never got responses. So when I don't get responses, who do I go to then? Because I would not be the only one in the room that would have that same question.
Do you mind coming forward with just telling us your name, just for our minutes? I know that, Amanda, but we just have to keep something going.
Right. So I'm Amanda Browning at Julie Ball Road. So I have sent individual emails and not received a response. And I'm just wondering, when we don't receive a response, when there's no accountability by him, what do we do then?
I would recommend that you send it to the other individuals on the council, and you're welcome to copy Mr. Bergen or anybody on the staff. And if there's a question and we know or they know the answer, that they'll send you a reply.
And when we don't get that reply?
And all I can tell you is you're welcome to come here and point that out that you sent and you did not get a reply to your question.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Judge Johnson, Maiden Lane. I'm just curious if you wanted to speak on the recent suspension from the post office, since I know the city has a complaint about mishandling of the mail. I've logged emails individually. I mean, y'all did overlook open records request, so I know things get overlooked. Just curious if you wanted to address that to the public. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Roy Hall, 5152 Mountain Parkway. I understand that a lot of this is directed towards the mayor, but I would like to remind everybody that the mayor doesn't run the city, the council does. And any questions that you have, you can go to your councilman and ask them directly any questions, and they should respond by email. They're the ones that come and bring things before, and Mr. Bergen brings what's to be on the agenda or any question to be done. The mayor is not the one that answers everybody's questions. So I just want to make that clear. It seems that everybody's trying to pinpoint him as if somehow he's not. But if you go to your councilman, am I right? Go to your councilman or the city with any questions and let them respond. And then if they don't respond, then you can come and complain about that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, it's time for council comments.
I just want to say thank you, everyone, for being here. We've got a really good crowd. We've got a very packed end of the year coming up. Several community events. Very pleased to see on the agenda. We've got so many things. We've got the various items that are happening at Depot, community events, community. It's very packed. I just hope that everyone that's in here in this room can also participate in that as well. I just want to say thank you. I'm very pleased and proud of our community coming together for these events, as well as our council session. So thank you.
Yeah, I was very impressed with all the different community outreach that's going on. Continue to do that. Don't just make it be the fall of the year. Let's continue to do that throughout the remaining months. And thank everyone for coming out.
I also want to thank everyone for coming out, and y'all keep coming. There's a good crowd out here tonight. We thank you for coming.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming. We need more speaking out.
You got a good looking crowd. Thanks.
I want to say thank you all, but it's not us and don't forget. Other than those for your,
I'm not voting to adjourn.
so that you done to adjourn. Second, Vice Smith, all those aye. We're adjourned.
And by the way, Liberty Baptist Church is also doing activities and the month for trunk or treat as well. So, just to add to all the great things.